We are freshly back from our June 2024 exceptional trip to Lake El Salto. It was exceptional because we had a great group of people, great fishing for quality fish, minimal travel hiccups, and also because we got to experiment with some new lures. That's always a thrill. I've been going there since 2009, consistently since 2013, and we have our staples. But I want to show you something. We made our first order since returning in anticipation of our trip back next year, and it has a little clue as to something you might want to bring on your next trip. This first order came from Normark, which you may or may not know is the parent company of a lot of brands that you already use. Storm, VMC, and depending on how you pronounce it, Rapala or Rapala. I vary between the two. It used to be Rapala, now it's Rapala. But they make a number of different items that we needed to get to restock for our next trip. I'm going to go through them and maybe that'll help you with your next trip. The first one is their high contrast 50-pound scale. We've been using the Brecknell scale for years and I'm thrilled with it. It's super accurate, super easy to use, consistent. The only problem is sometimes Hanna and I fish in separate boats, so we needed a second scale. The Brecknell is probably $90, $100. Our guide has been using this one from Rapala, for a number of years. We tested them against each other. They're accurate within an ounce of each other. We didn't need the complex one with culling beams and culling arrays and tags and things like that. We just needed this simple scale with a clip to hold the fish steady. That way, if we're fishing in separate boats, we each have our own. Next, went to one of the OGs. We really didn't need too many of these. It was our best lure on this past trip. The Storm Wild Eye Shad Swimbait. We just needed to restock in a few colors. Particularly, I was low on the 6-inch size. Here's a 6-inch in pearl. Here's a 6-inch in a shad color. Here's a 6-inch in a bunker color. Best color on this trip was Golden Mullet. I have plenty of those in 5, which is our standard size. Decided to get a pack in the 4-inch, which I throw a little bit less, but occasionally. Also needed a pack of the bunkers in the 5-inch. That was it. We really didn't need that many. It's a fantastic swim bait. If you're going down there, bring a selection of them. You don't lose a lot of them. They catch a ton of fish, and they cost like $1.50 or $2 per bait. It's the greatest bargain in bass fishing when it comes to going El Salto. But we learned something new on this trip, and I want to tell you, when we first started going in 2009, it seemed some of the older guides really didn't know about current tackle trends. I remember tying on a tungsten weight, and my guide couldn't figure out how I was using such a little weight. But now the guides are on top of it. They watch YouTube, they hear from their clients, they follow the pro circuits, and sometimes they know about new baits before we do. And one of our fellow guests was recommended by their guide to bring the Crush City Mayor. And that's a swim bait that obviously Jacob Wheeler and Dustin Cannell have been using a lot. Only comes in 3 and 4-inch sizes, so I was dubious, but it worked. They caught a ton of fish on these. Here they are in Tennessee shad and green shad. Those are the basic shad colors. If you want to get pearl white, you don't need to go much fancier than that. If you want to dip the tail, you can. I was dubious that these would catch big fish. They caught a lot of 8 and 9 pound fish on these. So as you can see, I'm stocked up. There's 5 packs. There's 3 more. 8 packs of 6 each. That's 48. I figure even if we got on a hot bite with those, that would last the entire trip. And if we don't get on a hot bite or that we manage to preserve them, we can give some to some of our fellow guests who aren't properly prepared. That's one thing about traveling with us, is that you always have extra tackle in our storage. That way you'll never run out of black and blue worms, never run out of lizards, 10XDs, something like that. Come on one of our hosted trips and you'll see all about it. One last item, I can't figure out the proper swim bait head for those mayors. I decided to try 1 pack of these VMC hybrid swim bait jigs. I may regret that I didn't get more. This is a 1/4 ounce, that'll be for the shallow bite. One thing about the bite on this trip is that normally with the Storm swim bait, we are bouncing the bottom. On this trip, we were fishing higher in the water column for suspended fish most of the time, not losing as many, not getting snagged as many, and you didn't need as heavy a hook. Again, prepare to come with us next year. It's a fantastic trip. Always learning about new tackle and getting a chance to test out new tackle when you go with us to Anglers in Lake El Salto or Lake Picachos.